Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center. Man, as you can see by the title, we're going to be taking another look at that 2025 NFL draft class. And for this video specifically, we have Mr. Abdul Carter. So, man, I have fell in love with defensive linemen here recently as I've been educating myself more deeper on the game. And I understand that to have a very disruptive defense, you have to have a good front four or a good, front seven, your four down linemen, your three linebackers. But I'm going to use this as an example before we get into the video. Look at what the Philadelphia Eagles, the Vic Fangio defense was able to do to Patrick Mahomes, and not just Mahomes, but other teams as well. And keep in mind, he was being able to do what they were doing without blitzing, pretty much just sending four, and that goes to show you. So for this video right here, we're going to be taking a look at Abdul Carter, man. And on this first play right here, man, you see he's matched up on it. That offensive lineman looks massive. Like, I had to go look up his height to make sure that, because he looked undersized compared to the offensive lineman, because he's 6'3", 200-some pounds, and an offensive lineman, like, he's probably every bit of 6'5", 6'6". So sometimes you have to understand, okay, I have to look at this strategically, right? So even if he was to, it's almost like a setup. So you see how he hesitated, and when he hesitated, it allowed, it kind of, put the offensive lineman in a compromising position, and then he went with his move opposed to coming off the line initially and going at him full speed. He kind of hesitated, kind of like a receiver does when they come off the line and kind of trying to set up a release. They try to, they try to lure you to sleep with the little slow hesitation. Devontae Adams is real good at it. JJ do it too as well. That's Justin Jefferson for you guys who may not know. But it was kind of interesting seeing how he done that on him. And then something else he does too, it also gives him a level of versatility, right? So he's already shown the offensive lineman that I'm pretty sure I can rush you full speed. I probably can try to power rush you, and I can try to beat you with finesse. So now he's using that to set up something later. So the next time he do that, the offensive lineman can think he's trying to go around him, and he can just bull rush and power rush and try to push him back into the quarterback. Okay, so now we gotta have, I always talk about those gotta have it moments, right? You're gonna have those gotta have it moments every game. Those gotta have it moments most of the time comes on third down situations. They come on fourth down situations if you find yourself in that position, and it comes down to red area success, whether that's red area success offensively or whether it's red area success defensively. So right here you have Ohio State on the 3rd and 7, trying to get the offense off of the field. That gives our offense an opportunity to drive down the field and put some points up, and he comes through in the clutch. Now, I know some people probably be wondering, like, man, he's not that big of a guy. How is he that, causing that much havoc? And I'm gonna show you what it is that's allowing him to cause so much havoc. And I seen it just even in the comments, but then that's like the first thing that stood out to me. And then just looking at it here, man, it's his first step, right? It's his first step. That first step is brutal, right? That first step is almost like his first step. He's able to cover so much ground to the point to by the time he gets to you off of just his first step, he's hitting you with a swim move or whatever else he's got to try to do to try to get to the quarterback, as he does a phenomenal job with that on this play right here. But then another thing that helps with your first step, I know some people might be like, man, how can I work on that? One of the things too is just the anticipation of the snap as well. Look at how good he anticipated this snap. Watch it. Boom. It's like as soon as the ball was being snapped, he took off. So that right there, it puts the offensive lineman in a bad position, because of the simple fact is that by the time he drops back or trying to drop back in the process, you're already up on him at that point. So it's like now the power doesn't necessarily have to be there. I just have you out leveraged. So we got another one of those gotta have it moments, So I put a lot, like I said, I put a lot of infinite emphasis on those gotta have it moments, because I think that those moments, it tells you the severity of how good some of these guys really are. And I'm not saying that anybody can make a play on first down and second play. All I'm saying is that it's easier to make a play on first and second down. Now, where you're really going to get your money's worth is being able to make plays on third down or make plays on fourth down if you find yourself in those situations. And, that's why I make sure I put a lot of emphasis on it when I say those got to have it moments, because you got to have it. As a defense, we got to make sure that we do get this sack or force a punt to put the ball back into our offense's hands so they can try to do something to help us out with putting points up on the board. So on this play right here, he does a very good job at being able to get underneath the offensive lineman. And then it's like after he got up underneath the offensive lineman, once again, just like the previous play, he was just able to use his leverage to carry him to carry the offensive lineman right on over for him to be able to get the sack. Like I said, dealing with guys like this, you have to figure out. Like I know Belichick and Coach Patricia, they always talk about those Tuesday players, those guys that you really just have to game plan for. And Abdul Carter most definitely is one of those guys, because if you do not game plan for him and just go into a game saying, okay, we just gonna wing it or whatever the case may be, he will completely tear up an offense. All right, we got another one of those gotta have it moments. This is really a gotta have it moment for both teams, obviously, but specifically for the sake of this video, we're gonna focus on the gotta have it moment for the defense. So the staple of a good defense is being able to consistently, not every now and then, consistently get off of the field. And that's what a player like Abdul Carter brings to the table, is that when you have a guy like him, especially in third and long situations. So third and long situations are normally where your pass rushers thrive now, because, it's not like you just need 2 or 3 yards, to get a first down. For the most part, you got to kind of be throwing over 6 yards to, or what is it? Not over maybe 4 or 5 yards to get a first down. Now it allows guys like Abdul Carter to really go back there and hunt and get a shot at, putting more pressure on you. And that's exactly what he do right here on this play. And then initially, it kind of like he was held. It kind of like, the quarterback, he just, stepped up in the pocket, and he didn't get him with the first effort, but he was able to get him on that second effort. And that's one of the things I always talk about when I talk about the greatness of a player and how good they are. A lot of it stems back to 2 things: effort, which is shown there, and consistency to give that type of effort, play after play, game after game, whether you hurt, whether you healthy, whether y'all got to win a season, whether y'all got a shot at the playoffs, whether y'all got a shot at the national championship. That's going to be the foundation to a great football player. So this right here technically isn't one of those gotta have it moments. I mean, being that this was first down and that the end of the first half finna get ready to come. But the thing is, just notice how he doesn't allow for offensive linemen to even really be able to get their hands on him. You know what I mean? Because like I say, his first step, he gets up on you so fast. And then after that, he just go ahead and, he just edges you up and kind of pushes back towards the quarterback. But it is very difficult for an offensive lineman to even get their hands on him. And he does a good job at kind of keeping his pad level a lot lower, too, to take away from accessibility for offensive linemen to get a hand on him. But then again, once again, it was one of those extra effort plays. You know what I mean? He was able to, beat the offensive lineman. You're dealing with a mobile quarterback who can run, but he was more so just looking downfield, trying to wait for something to develop. But when you got a guy like Abdul Carter coming off of those ends, you can't second guess. You can't hem and haw. You gotta know, and you gotta go. Because if not, plays like this will happen. Now, this is what I was waiting to see right here: the presence in the run game. So obviously, a lot of the time, stopping the run is the first priority, because if you can't stop the run, then you never really get a chance to get a hold of the game, and the opponent can kind of dictate the flow of the game. So being able to stop the run is very vital to being even being an edge rusher. I think a lot of people probably focus more so on sacks opposed to actually being able to fit within the run scheme. And he does a phenomenal job here. Just like every other play, they just aren't able to get a hand on him, man. Whether it's just his first step really is that quick, whether it's hesitation on the offensive lineman part, or whether he's just very good at constantly making sure that he is below level on his pad level and allowing for him, and he's able to utilize his leverage to pull himself free. But just a good shed of a block. And once again, like I say, those gotta have it moments, 3rd and 7, a good shed of a block, and being able to make a play on the running back for maybe either a no gain or maybe 1 yard gain. But at the end of the day, you still got to punt the ball off. So that's a win on the defense. They're able to get off the field on 3rd down. So this play right here shows you why Abdul Carter is one of those Tuesday guys that you have to game plan for right here. So on this play right here, it's one of those gotta have it moments for Maryland. We got to try to put some points up. We got to try to get some momentum going in our way. So we got to try to convert this. If we don't convert this, we're putting our defense in a very horrible position in terms of field position if we don't get this. And then you got Abdul Carter, who just pretty much takes away all opportunities on this play right here. So if you look at him over there, he engages with his blocker, right? That's why I always tell people, take blockers. Sometimes now it's a time and a place for everything. Now, I'm not going to always say you're going to do that every time, but for the most part, take on the blocker. So like they try, and that don't even look like it looked like they might have had trying to see. Let me see a replay of that. Because I'm trying to see, was that a running back that they tried to get, that they tried to swing out to try to get in front of him? Because if it was like a running back they try to put in front of him, and that just ain't a smart idea. He just completely takes on the block and just gets a push to prevent them from being able to even move the ball. It kind of reminds you of the Kansas City and Buffalo game when Kansas kept trying to go for the tush push and Kansas just kept stepping it, stopping it play after play. It's similar to that on this play. It's like he just ran into a brick wall. It's like you seen movement, and then next thing you know, you seen stillness, and then you seen them going backwards. And like I say, he's just one of those guys, man, that if you do not game plan, why would you run his way? That's another thing too. But that's why I say game planning. He's one of those guys that if you don't game plan for, once again, like I said in the previous clip, plays like this happen. A no gain, a fourth down, a no good fourth down attempt, and putting your defense in a bad position in terms of field positioning. Now, one thing you always hear me talking about when it comes to evaluating players is versatility. You know what I mean? That thing that I want to see you be able to do more than just one thing. You know, when you're able to do more than just one thing, we're able to we're able to get a little bit more creative with our play calling because of the versatility. So we've seen him be able to stop the run. Obviously, we've seen him being able to rush the quarterbacks, not just on first and second down, but when it really matters the most in those gotta have it situations, third down, putting pressure on the quarterback on third downs, getting sacks, or whether that's leading to him having to hurry up and throw balls and throw interceptions. So on this play right here, we see him being used as a spot. So I believe that what he did was, once he realized that the running back was staying back for protection, it kind of allows him to be able to be a spot. But I believe if that running back would have released and went out for a route, he would have, took the running back, because you look underneath, you got 4 rushers, him being one of them. So there's no eligible threats. There's not gonna say no eligible threats, but there's no threats in terms of passing because everything is downfield now. So now I get to just sit back. Now, granted, he could have did like this. He could have been very impatient, and once he realized that the running back didn't go out for a pass, he could have just jumped the gun and tried to put pressure on the quarterback, and the quarterback roll out and end up getting, picking up some pretty good yards. But he was able to be patient. He realized that, okay, I ain't gonna be able to get through there. Let me just sit here and act as a spot. If maybe my rushers will be able to get to him. If not, if he called himself trying to roll out, that would most definitely be a no-go. He did it and got a little sloppy with the ball handling here, and Abdul Carter made him pay. So I would say, to me, this is one of the most impressive plays that I have seen from him, just seeing that he has the athleticism and the capability to be able to play a up linebacker if need be. So this play right here might not look like much to the naked eye. Let me break it down to you and show you why it is. So for one, the ball pursuit skills is, next level. He's very, very athletic. I mean, you look at him being kind of a smaller guy that's not necessarily a very compact guy, but he's very strong and he's very explosive. He's very athletic, and he shows that on this play right here. He could have easily just given up on that play and was like, man, hey, quarterback threw the ball. I did what I can do, and kind of just sat back and chill. But once the quarterback released the ball, guess what he's doing? Pursuing the ball. Pursuing the ball allows for you to put yourself in positions, for one, to make tackles on players that's either elusive or that's very strong, that's hard to tackle one-on-one, and it allows you to possibly be able to recover a fumble, or it allows you to possibly be able to create a fumble if somebody already hasn't wrapped up. You can come in and strip the ball. But the thing that stands out to me, too, is the fact that this game is pretty much over with at this point. Like, the chances of them coming back is almost slim to none, and he's still competing. Most people can kind of get complacent, take their foot off the gas and say, hey, man, we beat them, man. We can give up, 7 points, make it they can score 10 points. Nah, he wants to dominate. He wants to compete, and he don't want to give you no breath. And that's what you want in terms of a defensive player, a defensive lineman, most definitely. To have that mentality of, man, I don't care what it is. We ain't giving up nothing. I don't care if the score was reversed and we was down like that. I'm still making this play regardless of what the outcome is. All right, once again, what kind of moment do we have? Gotta have a moment. So it's 3rd and 13. We need a play to be made. We need to try to get our defense off the field. Like I said, that's a staple of a defense, being able to get off the field on 3rd down. It don't matter how good you are on 1st and 2nd down. If you cannot get off that field on 3rd down, then that is a problem. And Abdul Carter shows that he has the capability to help a defense be able to get off the field consistently on third down. But man, this guy IQ is just on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Look at him right here. It's like it's like he sees the play developing before it even happens, you know. And I'm like I say, that's just not from just anticipation, man. That comes from film study, to be able to look at a certain formation and say, okay, I seen this before. I know exactly what they're gonna do. I'm gonna beat them to the spot. I remember I was looking at an interview with Brady, and Brady was like, he studied so much film on Kansas City leading up to when they had to play them in the Super Bowl that he knew Kansas City defense better than they knew their defense. And that just shows that's what preparation does. And you see that on this play right here. This had to have been a formation that he's seen and practiced against in practice. And when he seen that develop, and he said, I can't believe this, and went and made a play. And he has several plays like this, man. Like I would say, two of the things you guys always hear me talk about when it comes to kind of grading a player is effort and consistency. You know, do you give effort 4 quarters? Do you give effort when y'all are getting blown out? Do you continuously give effort when y'all blowing people out? Do you give effort when it's supposed to be a game that technically, the way some people would term it, that, oh, this game don't matter? Well, do you still give the same amount of effort all across the board? That's why early on I pointed out, look at the score. They was winning, the game was over with, but that's just still the level of competitiveness he have. And I will say that, man, I would say he kind of, exceeded my expectations on what I kind of thought about him. I didn't really have an understanding of him, but, watching him play, I love the way he played, because he's, he has a good IQ for the game, and he's physical, and he gives high effort, and you can't never go wrong with that. But, man, as you can see, that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash the thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, make sure that you got that notification bell turned on. That way you be notified every time I upload, man. Because if you didn't know, you can go see I've been uploading every day. I'm trying to keep this pattern going. So you want to make sure that you don't miss an upload whenever I do upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.